They reported back, but they never returned. In February of 1974, the mountains of Eastern Anatolia stood frozen under a storm that had not stopped for days. The sky and the earth had blended into one endless sheet of white. Inside a remote military outpost, a young radio operator named Kerem was half asleep at his desk when a strange, familiar voice emerged from the static. It was calm, disciplined, precise, the kind of tone only years of service could shape. It said that Alpha Unit had completed its mission and was returning to base. Kerem froze. His pen slipped from his hand as he stared at the radio. The date blinked at him like a cruel joke. That call should not have been possible. Alpha Unit had vanished 47 years earlier in those same mountains, during a classified operation that ended without a trace. 23 men, gone in a storm so violent that their bodies were never recovered. The only evidence of their existence was that last recorded message, the same one Kerem had just heard. He tried to rationalize it. Maybe a signal bounce, maybe interference. But deep down, something inside him knew this wasn't noise. It was contact. When he reported it, the officers laughed. Mountains, they said, could make ghosts out of radio waves. But the following night, at the same exact time, the transmission came again. This time it carried a second phrase. It said that silence was the price of survival. That was not a common phrase. It was the Alpha Unit's private code, a motto known only to its members. The kind of thing that shouldn't be on any frequency in 2021. Command sent a small team to investigate. Captain Serhat, the communications specialist Okan, and Kerem himself. They took old maps, cold weather gear, and a portable recorder. They climbed through 2 days of storm, through blinding snow and the low growl of the wind. At night, inside the tent, Kerem listened again. Static filled the darkness, but beneath it, he could swear he heard someone breathing. Slow, steady, as if listening with him. He removed his headset and waited. Nothing. Only the wind scratching the fabric of the tent. When he woke at dawn, fresh footprints surrounded the camp, 23 sets of them, all leading towards the summit, none returning. They followed the trail up the ridge, higher and higher until their equipment began to fail. The GPS looped coordinates, showing the same spot no matter which direction they turned. It was as if the mountain itself refused to be mapped. Then, in a frozen valley, Okan spotted something half buried in the ice. A rusted helmet with a faded name scratched across it. Lieutenant A. Korkmaz. Next to it lay a radio unit, decades old but strangely intact. When Okan connected the power line, it came alive instantly. The air filled with a faint, rhythmic pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Through the static came a familiar cadence, calm, authoritative, unmistakably military, stating that the mission was complete and that they were returning to base. The transmission was crisp, clear, and horribly present. Captain Serhat stared at the display. The signal light was blinking red. It wasn't playback. It was live. That night, the cold grew unbearable. The wind had a weight to it, pressing against their lungs, swallowing every sound. Kerem stayed awake, staring at the radio. The static shifted. Beneath it, he thought he heard movement, boots crunching snow just beyond the tent. He stepped outside, and the night swallowed him whole. There was no one there, only the endless white. But in the snow, new footprints had appeared, 23 of them, leading further uphill. Still no return tracks. By morning, Captain Serhat was gone. His rifle stood upright in the snow as if someone had placed it there. Kerem and Okan said nothing. They continued upward, each step heavier than the last. The wind died completely. The world grew still. At the summit, they found a clearing carved into the ice. In its center stood a metal box half buried in frost, marked with the worn emblem of Operation Northern Mist. Inside, there was nothing but a steel identification plate and a small field radio. The plate bore a single engraved sentence: "Silence is the price of survival." As they read it, the radio activated on its own. The voice returned, layered now, multiplied, as though several men were speaking in perfect unison. The same report again and again, blending into one endless loop, each repetition growing quieter, further away, until it sounded less like language and more like breathing. Kerem's eyes fixed on the transmitter. The screen flashed red with a new label: Alpha 23 active. His stomach turned cold. That unit hadn't existed for nearly half a century. Then the sound stopped altogether. No static, no wind, no movement, just silence, so thick it felt alive. Through the veil of snow, Kerem saw figures materializing in the distance, human shapes, soldiers standing motionless, their uniforms gray, their faces blank. One stepped forward. The name patch on his chest read K. Demir, Kerem's own surname. The figure lifted its head. There were no eyes, no mouth, only a hollow outline where a face should be. Kerem felt a chill crawl up his spine as something inside his mind whispered that he was already one of them. When the rescue team arrived a week later, they found the camp abandoned. The radio was still on, repeating the same message on loop. The timestamp showed March 3rd, 1974. The signal had been active for 47 years, 8 months and 12 days. Locals near the mountain still speak of the signal. On stormy nights, radios flicker to life, phones hum with interference, and televisions lose their picture. Each time, amid the static, the same words return, words carried through generations, through snow, through time itself. That silence is the price of survival. And sometimes, after the wind changes, those who dare to listen claim they can hear the steady rhythm of boots in the snow, marching toward the peaks. No one follows. No one answers. Because everyone knows that some orders never expire and some missions never end.